Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. Long time I haven't had a Jaguar around here. So today this video, well, I'm not going to do a lot today because I don't have a lot of time. But just before I turn off the ignition and cycle the ignition, I would say, I thought to record it to see how the car was actually dropped. The car was dropped here about 2 minutes ago with these problems. So the car in question is a 2008 Jaguar X-type with the 2-liter diesel engine, 127 brake horsepower, I think, or something like that. Anyway, it's a 2-liter diesel, and the car came with this. Okay, so we have that light flashing, we have the ABS light on, we have the engine light on, not sure about that orange light, and we have the brake light on. I don't think that's the handbrake, because if I take the handbrake off, the light remains on. So I think those 4 lights are all related, or 5 including that orange. I'm not sure what that one is. Anyway, the first thing I want to do is going to be turn it off. Okay, let's turn it back on. Okay, one of the things I've noticed straight away is that when the light comes on, there is a change on the revs of the engine. Like it revs a little bit higher. I don't know if you guys noticed, but all the lights comes on exactly the same. So with no further ado, let's gonna give you a quick scan and see what we find out. Okay, this was really strange. As the tool started to scan the ECM, the engine just shut down. Okay, and also another thing that I've seen straight away is that if you look at the list of issues, yeah, you guessed, there's no ABS. So let's gonna go to the engine just quickly to see if this is my only problem, or if there's anything else on the engine that obviously needs sorting. Okay, so that's okay. There we go. Boom. Speed brake, engine coolant for vehicle speed. So I have a feeling, other than that one, I have a feeling that all my problems are because of the ABS module. So just as before I start to record this bit now, I was about to say that maybe this is going to turn out to be different, into different videos, the engine problem with everything else, but it looks like it isn't. It looks like at the moment there is one problem causing all those lights, which is the no communications with the ABS module. There is another module, which is the instruments trouble codes. Let me see if that's ABS communication fault, because if it is, there we go. So it doesn't really tells me there is no communications with the ABS, but it says communication both fault. Looking at all of this, I'm not sure if I'm missing any modules, not gonna lie, but it looks like everything is here, I would say, because we have ECM, instruments, the audio unit, the GEM module, or the body control module, navigations, airbags, amplifier, phone, voice activation. What else am I missing? I think that's it, really, isn't it? I would say that's it. So at the moment, we're going to focus on trying to find out why my ABS stopped communication. Now, what I was told by the owner is that the car was parked for about roughly a month, parked absolutely fine. When it came to start the car, he had this problem. So that's it, really. Well, I think there's not a lot to do other than start to get your head under the bonnet and start to figure out what might be wrong. So first of all, let's gonna identify or locate the ABS module. Actually, before that, let's gonna check some basics, fuses, etc. But hopefully the ABS module will be just under the bonnet and it's gonna be really easy to get to. So I'll do a quick check and we'll go from there. Okay, some good news. The ABS module is just here. One of the things I've noticed straight away looking is that there is a few ground points down there. If you see in there, there's 2 of them. And one just comes into the loom for the ABS module. And I don't like how rusty they are, but it might be that's not the problem. So anyway, ABS module, easy to get to, easy to unplug, easy to do checks, which is a bonus. It's now one of those somewhere at the back, buried, whatever. Let's gonna check. It's gonna check fuse to start with, and then we'll carry on from there. Okay, and fuses, everything checks okay. So at this point we're gonna unplug this. Let me make sure the key is off. Okay, it is now. So how does this comes off? Okay, the plug is quite clean, very clean actually, and judging by these pins, I'm gonna guess that these big pins at the back are gonna be powers and grounds, and then the rest is gonna be signals, but I might be wrong. So let's quickly get some diagrams just to help us out a little bit, and we are now here judging wrong in case, but I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure this is going to be powers and grounds, and the rest is going to be is going to be signals, maybe a ignition power or so, just to wake up the module. But let's get some diagrams and go from there. Okay, so I could not find diagrams where I usually get my diagrams from, so I had to go onto some PDFs. You can find this stuff on the internet. Just Google it and spend some time. Anyway, as I suspected, according to my diagrams, pin 1 and pin 4 should be grounds. So pin 1 and 4, that's going to be pin 1. Here's the first one here. We're all done. Let me get these proper done. Okay, so that's going to be pin 1 and 4. I have my test light connected to positive, so if I do so, there we go. So even the ABS pump is grounded correctly. So ground and ground. So grounds are here, and then we have a 2 and 3 should be which is the middle pins, should be battery voltage. There you go, battery voltage. Okay, but now there is another. What is that? Do I have a? Yes, I do. Pin 28. Looks like pin 28 is ignition voltage. Let me have a look. Yeah, looks like pin 28. I just printed out the diagrams and they are really small. I think it's pin 28. Let's gonna check. So let's gonna turn the ignition on and see if my test light comes on. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. So we have a voltage problem here. Just let me make sure it's pin 28. I'm sure it's 28. Yeah, that one is empty. Yeah, pin 28. Yeah, that's the. Yeah, pin 28. So we have a voltage, we have an ignition voltage missing over there. Now let's see where that voltage comes from. Okay, and accordingly to another section of diagrams, they are not on the same page, so you need to go back and forth on the PDF following the connections. Anyway, pin so 26, 27, 28 should come to fuse 13, 5 amps. Fuse 13, there we go, 5 amps, boom. So that's good. So now, because we know the wire is good, we are going to plug this back in. So ignition off. Let's gonna plug the ABS module back in. And ignition back on. So let's just confirm with the test light that we have no voltage in there. So 13, and indeed we have nothing. Okay, and we should have. That might be other stuff, obviously. Anyway, actually that fuse feeds a lot of stuff. Sorry, this fuse is fed from a relay, which is relay 5. So, which one is relay 5? Done. See which one is relay 5. So that's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Will this be 5 in there? No, this is 2. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the relay. Yeah, that should be powering. So let's see if we have voltage on the, yeah, we do have voltage there, obviously not there, and we have no voltage here to actually activate the relay. Okay, right, so it looks like the problem is going to be the control side, which means if I power this relay now, I should have communications with my ABS module. So let's just test it, just for test purpose, and then we'll trace back the control side for the relay to see why the relay is not powering up. No, there is nothing there, so it's not gonna work, even if I, of course not, because you have no voltage on any of the control wires. Okay, hold on a second. The ignition is off. It's going to turn the ignition on and try to scan the ABS module now. But it's going to do that actually without stop recording. Oh. And look at that. ABS is gone, that's gone. So let me just check one thing here. No, that's not going to go off. Okay, let me scan this again. Actually, let me go back and try just to scan the ABS module. That's strange. I can't start it. Hold on a second. So that's what I wanted to look at. So now with that jumper wire, I get this. So if I take the handbrake, that light goes off. So the only thing I'm left with is that, the engine light. I just don't understand why I'm still not communicating with the ABS, which is a little bit weird. Right, that's really weird. Is that the maxi sees that cannot? There we go. Shuts itself off when you try to scan it. Let me do one thing here. Clear DTCs. Yes, yes. Ignition off. Ignition on. Okay, can link between ECM and climate control. Forget about the P1000. Speed control, brake switch, circuit fault. That's strange. Okay. Okay, so I didn't realize this. There's other communication faults. Look at that. Okay, so what do we have here? I still can't communicate with the ABS module. And now I haven't seen this before. Okay. Let me do one check here. Okay, so things start to make a little bit more sense. So on this relay 5, 7, 8, no, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. Few relay 13. So according to the diagrams, these actually, so the control wire, so this should be it should have a ground. Is the coil from the other relay. Okay, so I should have a ground here, which is good. Then I should have voltage here. That should obviously power the relay, but the control power that energizes this relay energize another relay at the same time, which is relay 13. I'm not sure where that one is, but we'll figure out that later. But that comes through fuse 30, if I'm not mistaken. 5 amps. Where's 30? 5 amps. Oh, 35, sorry. That's not 12 volts. Okay, so if I actually energize this fuse, I should be able to power both relays at the same time. And maybe get, let me try this, hold on a second. Okay, and after figuring out that this side of the fuse is the one that is actually connected to the coil of the relays, it looks like this is 11, and then there's 3 relays internally, so it's going to be 11, 12, 13, 14, but you can't replace those. Why they made things like this, honestly. Anyway, let's kind of power these relays. There we go. So energize the ABS module, etc, etc. And now let's kind of see if with this we have a different behavior, because now we are powering all the relays that the ignition on should power on. Boom! What else do you need? Oh dear me. Climate control comes on. So let me see now. That's really strange. Unless it's this tool that can't climate control. Let me see if I can communicate with it. What's going on? Strange. Okay, let's escape this. Okay, the lights goes off. It must be the scanner. It is the only thing I can think of, which is strange to be honest with you. But so let me see now what we do have. See if those faults come back. Yeah, they actually do. Speed control, brake switch. Oh, damn it, and now the battery is low. Okay, let me see what we're going to do. To be honest with you, I need to stop because I don't have more time today. Okay, but we got somewhere now. So we have no... So unless... I need to check diagrams. Unless the power that goes... The ignition switch that goes to there to power that powers something else before that we don't know yet. We might need to check that as well. Okay, yes, we might need to check that as well. Okay, ATC. Boom. And we have communications. Climate control is back on. I don't know why I'm still not able to communicate with the ABS module. Makes no sense whatsoever, but it might be that there's something else that we didn't got to. Yeah, definitely HVAC is working now. And I'll show you in a second exactly what I've done. Let me see if these codes are now go. Let me turn the ignition off. No codes. So if I put this back on and I start the engine, so I still get a DSC fault system because I'm sure there is power that goes to the yaw rate sensors and all that stuff. So let me, how do I turn these off? This is actually working. Fun. Yeah, it does work. Beautiful. So it must be a way to turn the, oh, he's there, climate off. So what I've done, guys, is I've did exactly the same thing, but this time so I've powered that circuit again, but this time with the fuse in place, which means I'm sending voltage all the way back to inside the car where the power should be coming from. But obviously, well, it is what it is. So right now, if I take these off, we'll go back to the same problems. Anyway, so my problem now is going to be inside the car. We're going to have to trace it from this fuse to where it goes. I've checked on the diagrams. I think I know where it goes, but that definitely is not going to be for today. So guys, just stay tuned. Obviously, with the magics of YouTube and video editing, you don't need to wait. So let's gonna now go inside the car and carry on from there. And we are back. Right, this is actually a few days later. That day, it was extremely late. It was already past 7 in the afternoon. Mrs. gets back from work around 20 past, half past. Usually by that time I have the dinner ready on the table. I didn't have that day, so you guys can imagine how it played out. Anyway, I was rushing that day, and I think I was putting myself ahead too much without looking properly entirely to diagrams to understand the problem. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I then went through diagrams again. In there is a drawing that I'm going to take you through that I've made, removing everything else that doesn't matter, to show you that most likely is going to be nothing wrong inside the car. So I ended up the other clip saying we'll have to come inside the car to find or to trace the problem. After looking at diagrams properly, or a little bit more calmly with no rush, I actually realized that I was probably barking at the wrong tree if I would come inside the car. So the problem most likely is going to be on the outside, and I will show you exactly where it is. So let's kind of look at those diagrams. So here is a diagram only with the systems we're looking at. So you can see this dotted line here. This is the inside is the cabin fuse box, the one behind the glove box. Obviously there's way more stuff, but here I'm just representing what we're looking at. And this one here is the one in the fuse box in the engine bay. K5 and K13. Now there is a reason why that one is a dotted line, that relay, so that represents a relay. This is an external relay, the one with the solid line. That one represents a PCB relay, okay, which is a relay soldered onto the board. If you remember, I'll show you later, if you remember, right at the top after relay 11, I think, was 3 relays that you could see through the cover of the fuse box, and that is one of those. Okay, anyway, let me explain you here why I believe my problem is not going to be inside the car. So if you remember, the last thing we did was on fuse 35 we applied voltage initially without the fuse in place. So what we did was we applied voltage to relay 5. So this fuse was not in place. We applied voltage here and we put voltage into this coil and we actuated the relay, correct? We also sent voltage to that, but that's the load side, so nothing really happened there. The voltage came all the way, so when that relay closes, it comes all the way. As you can see, we applied voltage there, and which means that relay closes. The voltage comes this way, and here, guys, this is on the engine fuse box still, this bit here, but I draw it slightly different. But these guys feeds loads of stuff, including, you guessed, fuse 13. We got to that, I showed you that anyway. Fuse 13, which feeds my ABS pump. Now we still have problems inside the car, as you've seen, and it was only when we did it with the fuse in place, because what we did was, when I put the fuse in place, the voltage came this way to inside the car to relay 5. This relay 5, boom, coil closes, voltage comes this way, and it feeds loads of stuff as well on the diagrams, including climate control. That was the last clip that we got way more stuff working. Now the only issue now is, when we did, obviously we put voltage all the way to here, and at this point I was thinking that the voltage would come from inside, so the signal, the trigger signal, will come from inside. But when you look at the diagrams, it actually doesn't. So the way this works is the following. We have ignition voltage or signal. So when you turn the ignition in position 2 or 3, that comes to here. It feeds loads of different stuff, including the coil for K13. Okay? Now, I don't believe ground is an issue, because this ground is shared here to K13 and K5. Okay? K5 is okay. There is ground in there. So unless we have a problem somewhere after this point, K13 should be okay. So once this relay is triggered, the load side, the voltage actually comes from this side. This is the battery. The battery here feeds loads of stuff, okay? Loads of stuff. If there was a problem here, I think we would have probably a non-start problem. One of the things this feeds is 21. In the diagrams is marked as a 21. 21 is the load side here. And when I activated this relay manually, I had voltage to the ABS. So from here to here is good. So this rail here of voltage is going to be okay. So the chances of the voltage coming all the way to here being okay is very, very high. So I believe right now that my problem is going to be this relay. Either the relay is faulty, either there is a, because it's a PCB relay, either the relay is faulty, either there is dry solder joints on the PCB and that is not making contact, there is a wire problem somewhere, whatever. It's narrowed down to these here, okay? This relay was not closing, okay? Or if it was closing, it was not making proper contact. So it could be where the relay makes contact to close the circuit, it could be there that was breaking, it was not making a good contact, and therefore the voltage was not coming back to here to activate this relay and activate the relay inside the cabin, and therefore we had all those issues. Now, this is a PCB relay, is the relay, I'll show you in a minute, is the relay that is inside the box, so it's not replaceable. We'll have to see how it goes. But we now have another problem, because the day I moved the car, so if you remember, I don't know how visible it was on the previous clips, the car was actually parked where the M5 is, was right there, and I needed the M5 and I had to move the Jaguar from there to here. And when I did, way is engaged, silly boy. When I did, I'm presented with this. There's no faults. I know. What? Oh dear me. We have the climate, we have everything. Everything is working. So, right now, I don't know what to say or what to do. Now, I'm extremely convinced that my problem is going to be that K13. So, we have two options here. Either I take that fuse box and I'm going to see if visually I can find the problem and I can say, okay, it was not happening now, but the problem is here. And I fix it, or do I let the car go? And, you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a tricky one. I think I'm going to take that fuse box out. If it's not too difficult to remove and to access those relays, we'll have a look at it. But looking from the top, looks like those relays are actually buried in silicon or some sort of stuff in there. So I don't know how easy it's going to be to replace those or to even check them. But yeah, it is a really tricky one, guys. This is the worst problems. You have a problem, next day you don't. It's like chasing a ghost, pretty much. Even though, and repeating myself, I'm very, very, very sure that my problem is going to be that K13, with no questions. It's going to be in there because it can't be anything else. So let me dig a little bit into that fuse box and see what we're going to do. Okay, fuse box is removed, and the relay we are talking about is, so I don't know if you can see there, R9, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That one in there with the blue letters, that's the relay. I believe it is failing. So let's gonna see if we can open this a little bit further and try to get to the bones of this. Okay, and I think I got right to the bottom of it. Now to separate these boards, oh dear me, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. But what makes me think at this point is, what can possibly go through the head of an engineer when he designed this to make all those relays external and then make 3 soldered into the PCB. Now, if these relays were relays that, I don't know, maybe the horn or something that is not used all the time, that the life expectancy of that relay would be very, very high, fair enough. But no, these relays, an ignition relay, every time you use the car, that relay is going to be on, and they made this so it's not replaceable. These needs to be a financial move, because they know we'll fail and they know they're gonna have to replace it. That's the only explanation. no engineer with all their brain cells connected would design these like this. I mean, I wouldn't design this like this. It's just ridiculous. And it's not like if there was no room, because definitely was room. So that relay could be one of these relays like that. So they could have made everything. Oh, it's unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. Anyway, let's gonna try to separate these boards and see if I can remove this relay and see what is wrong with it. See if we can get replaced, or I don't know. Let's gonna see what we can do. Okay guys, and after being here scratching my head on how to do this, I think I found a way. I do have a relay here that I'm not sure if it's the same. The first few numbers are the same, but then is a C2001, the one on the board, and that was a 2002, and I'm not 100% sure if they are exactly the same. Could be that it's just different numbers and they are exactly the same relay, but that doesn't really matter. What I want to do is take this relay intact. I could just smash it and then just solder some wires, whatever, try, but I want to take it intact to be able to inspect the relay to see if we can actually say, okay, here was my problem. So I found a solution, guys, and I know some of you probably are gonna say, whoa, that's a lot of work, but there's no other way. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna split this board and then I'll show you what I've done to split it, and then I'll show you how I'm going to put it back. Okay, so as you can see, board is split, and you can see exactly how I've done it. I've just cut every single link. I have two ideas on how to put this back on. We'll see which one I'm going to use, which one I feel that's going to last, or that's going to last without not much work. But anyway, let me show you the relay side of things, because this is actually quite interesting that Jaguar or whatever manufacturer this or designed this decided to design it like this, especially for this type of car. So these relays, guys, is basically inside this relay there's two-ways relay. Two-ways relay, yeah. So there's two relays inside of this with a normally open and a normally closed circuit, okay? Now, let me show you here on the board because it's easy for you to see. So this is the relay. So let me show, actually, hold on a second. Let me do this so you guys understand. Oh, come on. What I'm going to show you. What is here? It could be probably better, but this should be enough. So that, guys, is my relay. Okay, inside that little square is all the pins for my relay. Now, this side here, up to here in the middle. Okay, so this is, hold on. Okay, so this side, this here is a relay, okay, and this is the coil, okay. This is the, if I'm not mistaken, is the voltage, is the load side, and is the voltage input. And this here, you can see, is not even connected on both sides. This is the normally closed, and that's the normally open. So when this coil is energized, this will switch over from here to here and close this circuit, okay. But as you can see on this side of the coil, is not even used, okay. So this side is not used. Then if you come on this side, which is the side that we are interested on, as you can see, we have the coil side, which is indeed connected, okay. Set, everything is gone. I already follow the tracks and everything matches with what we see on the diagrams. And then here, as you can see, they're normally open, normally closed, sorry, and then it switches over to here, okay. And these guys feeds my fuse 35. This is my fuse 35, okay. And this is the load side that comes from this side, which is connected to loads of different fuses. And as I said, this side needs to be good, because otherwise we would have loads of stuff not working. So obviously this side here is the one we are interested on. So either we have an issue here, or we have an issue internally inside the relay. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to, obviously it's working now, as you have seen as well. So obviously the first thing I'm going to do is remove this relay. Now naked eye looking at these soldering points, they all look perfect, nothing wrong. I might put it under the microscope just to be sure, but they look okay to me. I can't really see nothing wrong with them, but let's put it under the microscope just to be sure. Okay, and just before we go under the microscope, I thought it would be interesting to show you this. So as I said, this here is for one side of the coil, for one side of the relay, for a coil, for one of the coils inside the relay, or the dual relay, which is not connected, and then this side is connected, as I've showed you. So one side comes, one pin is this one that comes around here, and then comes all the way down. On the other side, from here, there is a bridge, which is this bridge here that goes on that side. Then on this side, which is right there, okay, from this side it comes into the other relay, if you remember, K5 for the ABS module, and is also connected to a resistor, which is obviously for the coil of this relay, because the relay is that small that doesn't have a coil inside, I believe. So that's probably why that resistor is in there. And then the other side is connected here. It comes all the way here. This is why it's another bridge that comes down here, and then it splits to loads of stuff. Okay. Anyway, so that's probably so this is the trigger, most likely, and that's whatever is, and that is constantly connected either to ground or to voltage. Not really sure now, but what I want to show you is, because it doesn't really make a difference, let me turn this off. I'll turn it on later. So I just want you to hear this. And look what happens on this side. Nothing happens. So I'm not even sure how the hell this was working on the car now. If I switch voltage, same thing. But look, it should work either way. So this relay is definitely gone. Let's gonna open it and just confirm. I'm not gonna put it under the microscope now. After this, it's pointless. This relay is faulty. Okay, that was the last one. So should come out. So my next step, guys, so the relay externally is exactly the same. Pin outs are the same. It's going to be the same type, but we're going to open this because I want to see how it looks inside. Okay, and just for learning purpose, so this is what I was talking about. As you can see, one relay on each side. So the coils right here at the back, so one coil and the second coil, and then here is the contacts, and that will move that way, as you can see. And then this side should go that way when it's energized. Okay, there you go. Now what I want to show you is, let me see if I can put the phone somehow in a close. There we go. So now I'm going to energize the relay, the coils one at a time, and I want you to look at them and see what happens. I hope it carry on focus the relay. There we go. As you can see, this coil is good, even though these, when the case is in place, it's supposed to hold this back plate in place. And then let me show you. And then what moves is actually the, there we go. So like that, yeah. I hope it's focused. And then the other side is supposed to do the same. And nothing happens, look. That coil is dead. Yep, that coil is dead. Let me see one thing here. Now, I was nearly thinking that the coil wire was actually broken here. It looked like it was burned, but it's not. So the coil has failed internally. This is rubbish, and we're gonna put this one in. I'm just gonna test it and show you that this. I was doing some stuff with this. I can't remember now what it was, but for it to have these wires here, I've been doing something with it. Okay, let me put it on here, bring it down a little bit. Let's test this one. Yep, all good. So I hope the load side is good on this relay. I'm sure it is. I might just get it tested with the multimeter, make sure, and then we're just gonna put everything back on. So I'm going to solder this relay on that board, then join the board together again and put it on the car. And I do know, guys, that this was already kind of working this last time. Now I don't know why. I think it's just the fact that I opened it or something like that. It messed the relay again. But no questions asked, guys, that that coil was failing or was failed. At the moment was actually failed. And this was my issue. So let's gonna put this back together and hopefully wrap up this video. Okay, as you can see, it's not yet soldered, but it is enough for us to give it a try. So that's this pin here, and then that. So let's see what happens. Nice, poor contact in there. Let's do a straight. Ah, crap. And put the probes in there again. Like this. Sorry about that. Can you hear the multimeter? Let me put it here. I don't need that. Let's do it again. And my multimeter shows 0.3 ohms. There we go. It's good. Now let's gonna get it soldered and put it back together. Okay, it's all soldered, and I was just looking at the board, and wow, look at this. So this, you know what this is here? You see that? Why they made this lane here coming this thin? This is like a fuse. This works as a fuse. And these guys is for the same circuit. This comes here to... No. That's a different stuff. What is this comes to? Yeah, it comes to a relay by the looks of it. Anyway, look at that. That is like an internal fuse. So there's an overload here. It's going to burn here. But, you know, what's impressive is that there is spaces for extra fuse on the outside, everywhere in there, here. So this could have been designed in a way to have a fuse on the outside, but they didn't. This is clearly designed to, if it fails, it needs to be replaced. Just a little bit like the relay. Why this was not an external relay? I know it's a dual relay, which if they had to put two relays here, maybe they didn't have the space, but let's face it, is a dual relay that is working as one relay. Plus, these relays here was a free relay in there as well. Maybe other models will use it. These relays here, they could be the thinner ones. They didn't have to be this big. This is a... yeah, probably. I don't know. I think was always a way to design things to not have to be replaced in case of a failure, rather than just, you know. Anyway, stop moaning, Lewis. Stop moaning. Okay, and after 66 pins removed, I still have another 66 from that side. I cut them in half, if you guys remember. Now I was thinking about just putting the two parts together with the pins in place, and then just solder, obviously just a blob of solder on each one. But I thought that would be a weak point, and I didn't want that. I don't want this to fail again with heating cycles, temperatures, etc., the solders could start to break. So I didn't want to do that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get some copper, okay, strip some copper out and just put copper. So replace this with copper and solder everything back on. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I've started to strip and cut some wiring, some copper, and I already put flux all the way around. I covered everything, okay. Now what am I going to do? So this plastic thing keeps the right distance between the two sides, and all we do, we clip this like this. And what am I going to do now is, guys, is I'm going to put the wires through like that. Then I would solder in between, and then I'll cut these ends off. And I'll do this 66 times and 132 times the soldering. Oh dear. Okay, that's no 66. Yeah, 132. Right, let's get this done. Okay, so I did one on each corner, and this is the last time I'm going to show you before I complete this. So just you see roughly what we are doing. So this is roughly what we guys are doing. So just put the wire through, then solder in between. Okay, and now I'm just going to cut the leftovers like that, and that's it. That's simple. Okay guys, all done, all completed. If I wouldn't tell you, or if you would have seen this open, you wouldn't tell that this is no original. Right, all done. The only thing that I've done now right at the end, as I was cutting this like that, I was doing it like this, as I was cutting, that was putting a little bit of pressure on these copper wires. So what I've done right now at the end, after cutting everything, I just came with the soldering iron and I melted every single one of them on both sides again, just in case if these would force the pin to move and would somehow fracture the solder. So I just came again and melted every single point on both sides, and literally just finished. So now we're going to put everything back on and give you a test. I know, guys, it was working right at the end, but well, I think we have seen that it was a problem there with this thingy, which is going to go there. And yeah, that's going to put it all back together, give you a last test and see if it works okay. But I think this was my problem. Well, I don't think, I'm pretty much sure this was my problem. Okay guys, all back in place, battery connected. So let's going to close this. And give it a test. So let's gonna go. Oh, damn it. Close that. Right. It's gonna start this thing and see what happens. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, oh shite. I hope they have the pin for this. Right, anyway, so yeah, this is fixed. I'm gonna plug in the MaxiSys to see if I can now communicate with the ABS module. Now I know, guys, at this point it's a little bit of yeah, if it was not working the last time we worked on this and now would work, I think, you know, it was more intuitive or more obviously that we had it fixed, but because what I've showed you was working last time, but I think the fact that we were trying the relay and you've seen the relay was not working, I think that's a good indication that this was the problem. So let's plug in the MaxiSys, just curiosity, see if we have any communications now, and maybe clear any codes that we have in there, etc, etc, and then indeed wrap up this video, hopefully. Okay, and the guy actually had the code. I just rang him, he gave me the code. And look at that, guys, we now have communications with the ABS, which is brilliant. Only 3 modules came with faults, which I'm sure they're going to be all related to the fact that the ABS was offline, was not in the network. So there we go. So control module. Okay, so as you can see, is all history codes. Let's confirm that that's a history code as well. It doesn't say, but most likely it will be. It will be the fault code for the ABS. And now that one. It doesn't really say, but I'm sure all these faults are going to be again for the ABS. I'm not sure about the one. I'm not sure about that one for the temperature, whatever that is, but that in there, not really sure what that is. Let's clear. Actually, let's go back and just do a clear of all the codes. I'm not gonna start the engine because the engine shuts off while reading the codes on the engine. There we go. Oh, ECM came back with one code. What code is that? Let's see if it's that code for the... Oh no, it's the P1000. You can ignore this code on Jaguars and Fords and some other cars. So let's gonna cycle the ignition, start this thing one last time. And the battery is low. Bloody hell. This battery are these days, honestly. Crap, I had the key on for 2 minutes while erasing the codes. Okay, let's plug this in and, oh dear me. Let's gonna get it on charge and then I'll wrap up this once it's running. Okay, just got the battery out from charging. As you can see, 1293. Just took it out. Let's gonna start this thing. And there we go. Completely fault free. So that was the only code that we had. It was that P1000. But yeah, we have a fix, guys. So yeah, in the end, just a faulty relay that Jaguar decided not to make it replaceable. And that's about it, really. And just before we wrap this up, I would like just to say that this, guys, was a primary example where diagrams are definitely a must. These diagrams, in this particular case, if you come to watch this video because you are having a problem with a Jaguar, these particular diagrams, they are on a PDF file. A little bit of Google search and you will find them. The software I pay the subscription for to have access to diagrams online doesn't have nothing for Jaguars, which is a little bit odd, but it is what it is. But yeah, but these guys was a primary example where diagrams were a must. It would have been very difficult to find out that the problem was that relay even before I took the box out. I knew already that my problem would be on that relay, all thanks to diagrams. There is instance where you can get away without diagrams. There's some other ones where you really can't. Diagrams are really can be really helpful and save you a lot of time on diagnostics, a lot of time on fault finding, etc, etc. I'm sure you guys know what I mean. But for this video, guys, that's it now. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you find some information on it that might be useful. If you do still have any questions, any comments, just put them below, and like always, thanks for watching.